I guess in terms of starting, that would go back to 2018 when we were first made aware of the grant availability and encouraged to apply for it. And so in the sort of spring of 2018, Lee, my partner, and I started discussing what we might do, how we might bid for the Moving Image Grant, and we started to assemble partners. And then, of course, now we have Aardman, who's not actually a member of the consortium, but much valued intrinsic member of the partnership. Aardman have sort of mucked in with this from day one with us, shared the vision, really loved the idea of what we wanted to build. The timeline to complete it is rapidly approaching, is the end of this year, at least for the first part of the R&D. We think, and we've thought for many years now, that we could take transmedia and use that as a fundamentally valid and new way of telling a story, and that we could bring that together in a mobile app, it's a mobile experience, and we could tell story that would be threaded through a variety of different media types, including augmented reality and mixed reality.
So before the COVID lockdown, we had created and established an amazing story with Aardman. All our technology was in place and we were talking to our audience, showing the product and actually learning from them. We were developing technology that was working outside with large scale interactions using augmented reality. And we were also developing interactions that sat on the phone that you could have in your hand and work at home.
So our project, again, hasn't changed. It's exactly, in many ways, what it was always meant to be. The only change is that the finale of the story will now be something that you can only experience remotely, as opposed to coming to Bristol. So the way we reacted to this was by bringing on further development talent with further support from Innovate. And we had them take that data that Phantasmo captured. We worked with the team at Phantasmo to reimagine that data as something that could be anchored either on your tabletop, I guess a diorama, or could actually be done to scale or closer to scale in your back garden or in a local park. And so essentially, we're bringing Bristol to you. It suddenly doesn't matter if you can come to Bristol. It doesn't even matter if you've ever heard of Bristol.
This new approach, it does impact creatively, and it does impact how we go about producing a wonderful adventure story. But it puts a dynamic on the team because we cannot be face to face. So using all this latest technology to help us talk and communicate on virtual whiteboards, using things like Miro or Google Hangouts to be creative when we would traditionally be together on whiteboards in offices.
We'll finish our R&D this year on the Big Fix-Up as an at-home experience. And then next year, we've been provided additional funding, which we're really grateful for, to spend 6 months continuing to iterate on the live experience, and we'll be putting that live experience in at least 3 cities next year. And we also have an ancillary experience that we're building around this as well that we call Rogue Lad. We've learned that AR is new and magical to people, and they need to be sort of handheld still. So we've spent a great deal of time figuring out how to onboard people into how you interact with these AR anchors. You know, when to tap, how to scale, how to make things bigger and smaller, and so forth. It's been an amazing thing for me, having worked as a partnership with Lee for so many years on our own, coming together as a bigger group, needing to delegate more, needing to bring on people that we could trust. But you know, we've been really lucky. We've hired on tremendously talented people across the board, and I think it's the reason we've been able to be so resilient this year in responding to COVID.
So as we head to launch, you know, our nerves may be raised, but you know, through our ability of putting in, you know, the types of interactive points amongst our teams, it should be quite smooth. But it is heading to a launch, so it's going to be fun and frantic, I'm sure.
It was more about how do we bring everyone together and become one team. And so because of that, socials were a natural thing, and we were doing them every month as a way to foster the idea that Fictioneers, you know, was where it was at.
We had a brilliant one where we had Merlin Crossingham, who's a creative director from Aardman, and he creates morph. So he gave us a session on model making and creating morph. So we all had plasticine sent to everyone's home, and we all made our morph models.
From an entertainment point of view, we've brought both magicians into our virtual homes to teach us how to become, you know, a magician, but in with ourselves, and then also being able to bring comedy in, and it's all basically based around the theme of what we're trying to do, which is entertain people.